There it is. Thank you and good evening, everyone, and welcome to From Factory Floor to Operating Room, continuous improvement strategy that work everywhere. So I'm happy today because tonight we are joined by Alberto Suarez. He is a Six Sigma Black Belt and Process Improvement Advisor at the Cleveland Clinic. He's also a seasoned leader with more than 20 years of experience applying Lean Six Sigma and change management across some of the world's most demanding industries. He began his career at Chrysler, where he advanced supply quality systems in large-scale automotive manufacturing. From there, then he moved into aerospace, taking on leadership roles at United Technologies and Collins Aerospace, driving operational excellence and supply quality in environments where precision safety couldn't be compromised. So today, Alberto, who is also one of our 1510 members, brings that same discipline and expertise into healthcare at the Cleveland Clinic here in South Florida, one of the nation's top medical institutions. His work shows that continuous improvement isn't limited to factories or engineering. It's just as powerful in hospitals and operating rooms. So in this workshop, Alberto will share proven strategies to reduce waste, improve quality, and make change stick, whether you are managing complex supply chain, advanced manufacturing, or healthcare operations. So please join me in welcoming tonight's speaker, who is one of our members, Alberto Suarez.
Welcome, Alberto.
Welcome, Alberto.
Welcome.
Thank you, team. Thank you, team. Appreciate that introduction. So I'm very pleased, to be here, with this chapter for this particular event. I will apologize for not turning my camera on. There's been some issues here with the internet, so it seems that if I turn it, there's some technical difficulties. However, when we were talking a couple of weeks ago, I know that Ali and the doctor, were talking to me and said, well, why don't you, since you work in the hospital environment, how difficult would it be to kind of share, what you do, how do you apply, the quality techniques? Because we were kind of like talking about, in the hospital now more than ever, we're basically introducing a lot of lean concepts, right? Everyone right now with the economy, and the efficiencies that all the sectors, are demanding, right? I mean, this is where it comes to light, more than ever, lean practices. So, again, basically, welcome to this session on driving quality across industries, right? Today we will explore how ASQ principles embedded in certifications like, the black belt, like the CMQ, OE, are not just academic frameworks, but practical tools. What's remarkable is that these principles that guide continuous improvement in car factory also drive excellence in aerospace programs and improve patient care in hospitals. This presentation will illustrate how universal the ASQ taxonomy is and how it empowers us to speak a common quality language across the industries. So this session demonstrates how the ASQ principles and certification taxonomies, right, are applied in automotive, aerospace, and healthcare. Some of the key goals here is basically to show how continuous improvement tools and frameworks are universal, even though each industry applies them differently. By drawing cross-industry connections, healthcare leaders can adopt proven practices from manufacturing sectors where CI and quality disciplines are deeply embedded. So here we see, the ASQ certification taxonomy overview. Certifications such as a black belt, the CMQOE, the CQE, CQA, and the supplier quality professional emphasize overlapping areas. Quality principles, customer focus, process improvement, data analysis, and root cause problem solving. Think of this as building blocks. They form the backbone of how quality professionals approach problems regardless of the sector. For instance, where you're an engineer, a manager, or a healthcare leader, you're still guided by the same principles and frameworks, only the application changes. So, automotive, the OEM supply rigorous quality management systems such as TS6949. Some of the lessons basically are clear metrics and supplier integration. On the aerospace side, they're highly regulated environments. Obviously, the FAA, the AS9100, emphasize compliance, traceability, and accountability. On the healthcare, hospitals adopt Joint Commission standards and lean daily management. Increasingly, systems like Cleveland Clinic use visual management boards, and leading Gemba wants to sustain quality. So there are definitely similarities, regardless of the industry. Leadership, commitment, and standardized process drive consistency and trust. So when it comes to customer-focused organizations, automotive, for example, Hyundai analyzes JD Power surveys to align design and customer needs. On the airspace side, we have Airbus, which uses airline voice of the customer programs to tailor aircraft interiors and reduce cabin service issues. On the healthcare side, patient experience surveys such as HCAHPS guide improvements in responsiveness, communication, and discharge processes. All industries rely on systemic listening posts to capture customer patient voice and translate it into actionable design or service changes. Process management and improvement. In the automotive, Ford uses Lean Six Sigma to streamline cycles, removing non-value added activities. Aerospace, for example, Boeing, and its suppliers deploy Toyota production systems, known as TPS, principles for consistency. Within the healthcare, hospitals apply lean daily management to reduce ED wait times, improve operating room turnover, and streamline medication delivery. All three industries reduce waste, increase throughput, and ensure repeatability in processes that directly impact customer patient satisfaction. So here, team, you can see, how, different industries, right, adopt, lean. In this case, they use, the pyramid, for Toyota. Others, kind of just tweak it a little bit, into kind of like a circle, right? But I mean, if you go over and read everything that is in there, it's basically across, of what other industries, are currently using. And I did this slide, because I noticed that on the other one, it was probably very small, and you probably wouldn't be able to read it. But, at least 5S, just in time, RCAs, the Kanban, the Pokeyokes, the Henjuka, the VSM. I mean, that is something that is used on the healthcare, believe it or not. When it comes to data analysis and statistics, SPC and Pareto charts, defects in production. On the airspace, for example, SPC monitors dimensional accuracy, preventing catastrophic failures. In the healthcare, SPC and run charts track metrics like operating room turnaround or infection rates. Pareto analysis highlights top contributors to delays. So statistical tools create early warning systems that help leaders address variation before defects or safety incidents reach the customers, in this case, or patients, right? So here you can see again, the charts that we were basically covering. The one on the center, right, it's something that, it would be used during the turnaround time within the OR. You may ask, what is, Alberto, a little bit more about, can you explain a little bit more about turnaround time? Of course, So we have, for example, 10 cases through the day that will go into the OR, meaning that there's 10 patients that they'll go into surgery. You have the first case on time, the first case, goes into, it's will into the OR. The procedure starts and then the procedure ends. Once the patient is wheeled out, meaning that is being pulled out of the room, there's going to be, there a lapse of time for the next patient, the second case, to go in. In between that lapse, we call it turnaround time. How fast we can turn the room around, prepare it, clean it, so the next patient is will in. So as you can see, it is important that we monitor this, right? Bigger turnaround times, most likely are, in this case, waste, right? I mean, we're not getting anything, in there. I mean, we want to have the patients inside the rooms so we can be profitable, right? So now you understand why, it is important that in the healthcare, we track this. No different from, again, how other industries do it, whether they monitor critical processes, it's the same concept. So when it comes to root cause analysis and problem solving, fishbone diagrams for supplier part errors are used in the automotive, 5 whys for production floors. On the airspace, what I've seen is also this similar, right? They use cause and effect diagrams to ensure critical tolerances are understood. Within the healthcare, RCAs is triggered by medication errors, wrong site surgery near misses, or specimen handling failures. A3 problem solving provides a structured format to capture background, root cause, countermeasures, and sustainment. Across all these three sectors, structure RCA transform complex failures into system-level improvements. So here are basically, again, some of the examples in the industry, right, that use, the fishbone diagram or the Ishikawa diagram, right? I mean, no different from what you've seen. You have categories. Within the categories, you most likely could have, potential issues, right? So if you look into the one that is on the middle, right, what we're trying to solve there is a medication error, which basically was a repeat insulin coverage given. You have the personal factors, you have environment, you have unit communication and culture and education in this case, right? Uh, what are the standard group categories? Again, it's believe it or not, we can use the 5 Ps. It's very, very common that we adopt first as a learning curve, those ones that are very standard. And then, as you progress, right, you feel like, okay, we'll just, put the ones that are basically used or can adapt, to the issue or the unit in place. So we also have problem solving, right? Uh, Many, automotive tiers, OEMs, and vendors use the AD process and supplier corrective action reports, which are commonly called SCARs, formalized, accountability. In the airspace, no different, right? They call it non-conformance reports, or commonly known as NCRs, right? These are basically FAA or AS 9100 compliance reports that are mandated for traceability. Within the healthcare, safety event reporting systems, right? It What I've seen, so far on my experience is that they use A3 documentation that basically will ensure the problems are documented, countermeasures tracked, and learning share across units. Formal reporting structures prevent recurrence by ensuring system learning, not individual blame. So here, basically, some of the reports that I was talking about. Uh, Basically, right, I mean, all of them fulfill the purpose to, solve a problem, hopefully not, recurring. I'm going to concentrate on the one in the middle, which is the one that, I've seen that is used on healthcare. You have a problem statement, you have a background, you have aim or goal, you have an analysis that you do. Um, on the right side, you have a countermeasure, a plan, a sustainment, and then recognition, right? So again, a lot of the things that you see in here, right, most likely, I'm sure that somehow you have experienced it, within your own particular industry. So when it comes to audit and assessment, for example, I've seen that Nissan, they use for their pre-owned vehicles checklist standardized inspections. On the airspace, they use regulatory audits to ensure safety standards are not compromised. And similar to healthcare, right? I mean, audits of, for example, pre-operative checklist, which basically reduce surgical risks. Audits in all the sectors verify adherence to processes and creates a feedback loop for ongoing training. So here are basically the checklists that I was talking about. And there's a lot of them, right? I mean, it again, from what I mentioned, it kind of like keep us to adhere, the standards that are basically driven by the industry. There are many examples. I mean, if you Google, you have an idea. But again, isn't this checklist, kind of similar to what you have experienced in the past or currently experiencing in your sector? So, in huddles and visual management, uh, Kaizen teams, I've seen this a lot in the automotive, are being, deployed in the shop floor to solve daily issues. I've seen also similar in the airspace, cross-functional vendor teams that review daily production challenges. On the healthcare, also, there are tier daily huddles across nursing, surgical, and ancillary services, align staff on safety, throughput, and patient flow. Visual boards make metrics transparent. So the cross-sector parallel, right? I mean, frontline engagement is the engine of continuous improvement. All industries use huddles to connect frontline insight with leadership decision making. So again, no different from what you can see here, right? I mean, you have boards that are displayed in the shop, right, and the on the floors, and basically they help out, to understand first, what are the most important things that the team must achieve. What are the goals? What is the current status? Again, right, I mean, you can see there in the top corner one, for example, how they have, their organization, they have, what is important, for people, what are the performance. In this case, very particular, they track quality, cost, and delivery. And then on the right side, they have a problem solving area, right? So usually when you don't hit any some of those metrics, that's the place where you want to use in order to address the issue, right? Similar to the one that is below, and that is something that has been used, different versions, right? On the airspace, I've seen how, again, you see that plus is safety, quality, delivery, and cost, right? And again, right, how deep they go into this, they use again, Pareto's, run charts, action items list, etc. Right? And no different from the healthcare that you see there in the middle, right? I mean, they do emphasize a lot on quality and safety, right? People, I'm sorry, engagement, factors, and a lot of information that is important for all the caregivers to know. And those are, either celebrations, they can be, um, important dates, training, etc. So that is basically the concept, right, about, visual management. Now, also, you know, something that is common that I've seen, I've experienced, is the risk management, right? On the automotive, the FMAA identifies potential part failures before customer delivery. Within the airspace, we can see also that there might be some risk inspections to address potential in-flight hazards with a zero tolerance mindset. On the healthcare, also, the FMAA is applied to high risk areas like blood transfusions, chemotherapy delivery, or pre admission testing in order to reduce harm before patient contact, right? So, again, anticipating risk through structured methods prevent catastrophic outcomes in all the industries. And again, here is just the formats, right? I mean, the most common things that you see here, I mean, basically is going to be what is the name of the process, what is going to be the potential failure mode, the effect of the failure mode, severity, potential cause of failure, occurrence, what controls are in place, what is the detectability, and what is basically the RPN, right? The one I just went through, that was the pre-anesthesia, right? And you can see how, again, they kind of list, all the processes. And as you go list by process, you kind of just assess, what potentially is the risk. No different from the rest of them, right? I mean, the one on the top, that is for a widget on the airspace. And then the one on the bottom that is used for a Ford product. And again, right, I mean, you can probably add more, columns, but this is something that I've seen. Again, it's very standard. Once you have your RPN, again, you try to address the ones that are the highest, similar to all the automotive and aerospace. This will be a living document that you would like to review, on a frequency basis, so you can make sure that you update, according to your processes. So when it comes to supplier quality management, right? Toyota supplier development programs elevate supplier performance. On the airspace, and I've seen this also on the automotive, production part approval process, which is the PPAP acronym, right? And compliance audits verify parts reliability. Within the healthcare, supply chain teams monitor vendor performance to prevent delays in surgical supplies or expire medications. Vendor scorecards mirror PPAP style accountability. I recall the time when I was working in the airspace, and we used to have only first article inspections, FAIs, right? But there was a need, to go deeper into, the ensuring that the product that was being developed, was really, had met all the requirements in production. At that point, many years ago, probably more than 10 years ago, they adapted, the PPAP, they call it UPPAP. And I think I saw a comment in there from one of our guests. Um, correct. Yes, Antonio. And basically, they basically kind of just added and removed, a couple of minor things, but I think this really kind of helped out as part of it. Absolutely, Dr. Kramer. A's, right? I mean, again, if we talk about, Raytheon, or Collins, ACE is a Chief Components Excellence. It's a program that morphed to core, but is definitely, has, foundation on Lean Six Sigma. Thanks for commenting. So the lesson here, supplier oversight ensures downstream reliability, whether delivering car parts, aircraft components, or critical hospital supplies. And here there are a couple of things, I was able to go over, definitely, I mean, I don't have a PPAP, a UPPAP currently for Raytheon, but, if you go to the website, very interesting how, they adapted this. And basically, this is I guess, one of the supplier portals, right, that you can have access. The PPAP has, X amount of elements, right, that kind of takes you to ensure, again, product meet its intent. Uh, no different from, what I was looking for. I found that, for example, Yale, New Haven Health Policy and Procedures, also have another way to basically, check on vendors. And it was also very interesting, how, in the healthcare, it is being monitored. So when it comes to strategic planning and deployment, all industries translate vision into deployment using policy deployment. This is called, Hoshin Kanri. So, for example, long-term planning. And I see that Antonio Granada says Airbus supplier management was great, Grams. Thank you, Antonio, for sharing that out. Long-term planning to meet emissions regulations, right? On the airspace, strategic focus on sustainability and regulatory alignment. Uh, Healthcare, hospitals deploy strategic CI plans that link patient experience, safety, and operational efficiency to organizational goals. So again, strategy without deployment remains conceptual. Success requires cascading goals and accountability systems. So again, if you look into those three sectors in particular, and I'm sure that many of them also apply to your industry, right? Organizations, right, have visions, goals. Some of them have some sort of policy deployment, which is basically trying to cascade, objectives, so we have the teams aligned. We want to monitor those via, metrics or scorecards, right? We apply some sort of continuous improvement. And again, those can be, different ways, either Kaizen, Lean Six Sigma, PDSA, uh, which basically embeds, the CI culture. We have compliance and risks. Definitely, the stakeholder engagement, the feedback and the reviews that, usually are being done, during tier huddles or operating reviews, et cetera, et cetera. So the ASQ taxonomy is a universal framework that transcends industries, right? Automotive, airspace, and healthcare all leverage CI tools like Lean, SPC, RCA, FMEA, and A3s to sustain performance, right? So cross-sectors learning accelerates adoption. Hospitals, can learn standardization discipline from automotive, risk rigor from airspace, and combine them with healthcare's unique patient-centered approach. So to close, I encourage discussion. We've seen how industries as different as automotive, airspace, and healthcare share a common quality DNA. For ASQ members, the challenge and opportunity is to think about how lessons from one sector can inspire innovation in other. So I'll end with a question. What examples from your work illustrate the adaptability of quality tools across different industries?
I think that, for example, Antonio Granda, he has been working with Airbus, I think, and he shares some experiences. What comment do you have, Antonio?
Yeah. Everybody listen to me?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because this microphone sometimes.
It's working.
Unfortunately, I work most of my time in aerospace, more than 25 years. I always wish to work in other industry like biomedical medical device, but definitively I don't know why they never like me, and they keep me all the time working with planes. But inside the airspace, I got the opportunity to work with a very outstanding company like a UTC that I think today is called Calling Aerospace. And one of my assignment, I was a pro engineer representing UTC in Airbus. And one of the most impressive system that I ever seen is the one that Airbus used with their supplier. We were working in the program of the A320neo nacelle, and basically the Airbus quality system encompass any known quality tool. It was a very tight, very strict quality system. At the beginning, we were kind of uncomfortable with that customer, but down the road, we learned that in aerospace, it's critical safety and quality. We need to have that kind of super control of supplier in order to success and guarantee the safety of the commercial aviation. Again, I am already semi-retired. I am taking care of a repair station here in Miami, trying to make it there more lean. But again, I always wanted to work in other industries, but I never got that possibility, that chance.
Well, actually, Antonio, I think that in healthcare and in clinical, we got a very difficult type of follow-up in terms of our metrics, because for example, within the Institute of Medicine, you can measure safety, effectiveness, timeliness, patient center, efficiency, even equity. But the fact is that the true value of searching this type of data is to see if we can improve the life of a person in a meaningful, sustainable, and equitable way, which plays in our speaker shoulders a very difficult task, because we humans are different. And it's not like manufacturing a part that most of the part are gonna be centered to the average, and we are gonna have a spread deviation. It's it's quite difficult to work in this type of environment, and the beauty of the quality system is that they made the leap of faith into healthcare. And what Fredo shared with us is how he's managing these quality system principles in order to work with the critical role of improving the patient outcome, safety, and operational effectiveness. In U.S., health is a business, but nevertheless, we are dealing with humans. So we have to be very careful in how we are implementing and measuring these critical variables in the health industry, which means that, as you said, we need to be sure that starting with the suppliers, we got the quality that we expect. If we are going to have a pacemaker in a patient, be sure that it will fulfill the requirement for that patient, because the life of the patient is on the line. So thanks for adding your perspective from aerospace. And anybody else get any comment? You know,
I'd like to,
Yeah.
I think Lucas, one of my students, he has experiences. I hope you can talk, Lucas. I know you're in the car, I see that, but he has both air traffic experience as well as military experience. And I think those two types of industries would be interesting if he could share a few words, to sort of complement our speaker tonight as far as what he's noticed on approaches for Lean Six Sigma problem solving, et cetera, within those worlds. Can you share a little bit, Lucas? And not kill anyone on the road?
Yeah, sorry, I'm on the highway right now, so I'm trying to pay attention and to driving in at the same time. So, what was the question you were asking?
Yeah, it's just if you could just sort of give a couple comments. You have experience both in air traffic, which is an interesting service field, if you will, as well as the military. Why don't you talk about air traffic relative to problem solving and process improvement? What's been your experience on approaches?
Honestly, I don't have a whole lot of experience as far as the process improvement in air traffic control. I don't get a lot of the big picture type of decision making. I don't see that. It's just air traffic controller not being in the management side of the house.
Well, I don't know if Lucas can hear me, but in the air traffic position is quite a very tense position, that managing decision making is one of the most difficult things, because as a flying student myself, and I know what he said, that we got 3 airplanes in the air trying to land at the same time, and the guy at the tower have to assign that landing order. So in addition to the quality being measured on that sector, I think that we can add the fact of the pressure and the time to make a decision on a very short time. So it's like in the OR. Sometimes you get some situation that call for a split second decision, and if you can monitor those critical variables like oxygen pressure, all those variables, you can have some idea. But if Lucas has been working in the control tower, I don't want his job, because it called for a split second decision for and problem solving. If we are talking about problem solving in the manufacturing area, if we got the problem, well, we call a team and we work on the problem solving issue. But in air traffic controller, there's no way that you can call the teams, call the troops, have a meeting. No, you have to make the decision right on the spot. So I think that Dr. Kramer, it calls to have a very well-defined critical variables and what to do in a certain type of situation. I don't know if Lucas, you agree with me, but
I could see what you're saying. It's like constantly assigning priorities to that make sometimes kind of breaking it down what I need to do first, second, third, and fourth. And I can see what you're saying. Just got to figure out how to translate that into a production environment, into a common, I guess, Lean Six Sigma type curve.
Okay, anybody else? I know that we got people from Mexico on the line, so if they want to post any question or any comment, even in Spanish, I think
Yeah,
that.
I have I see two people that raised their hands, Dr. Tomas.
Okay, go ahead.
Anita, I think it's Anita here.
Yeah.
Yes, I am. And first of all, if you can stop the chart sharing, we can see each other. The most important, well, I've been in aerospace for 32 years. I'm now retired. But when I first started, I worked in a nuclear reactor area, and it was the manufacturing of nuclear plate fuel. And it turned out that the most critical thing that we started looking at was yield. And when I started, the yield was in the 60%. And we worked yield because nuclear materials are expensive. Nuclear materials are dangerous. And we need to get as much out of it as we possibly can. When I finished the program, we were at 95% yield. And it was 2 years. It took a lot of charting. It took a lot of looking at what went wrong and what we needed to do about it. And 2 years is a long time. But when we finished the project, we were acclaimed as being one of the best in delivering 95% yield. And all along, I had thought other statistics were equally important or important. It turned out yield was number one.
Good, good. That's one of your critical variables.
Doctor, thank you, Anita, for sharing, that example. I wanted to just collaborate with Dr. Kramer, when he was asking, for some military examples. I recall, when I used to work for Collins, I used to work for the military, and we basically work, with DCMA, which is a direct contract management agency that is one of the arms for the Department of Defense. And some of the things that kind of like that kind of just brought again some memories, sampling plans, right? I mean, basically when we ship product, in this case were bolts or nuts or something that nature, right? There's hundreds, thousands. We would use sampling plans, to determine the acceptable quality, no different from in this case from aerospace, right? Something that I just wanted to bring because now that I have the opportunity to work in the hospital, I mean, I honestly could not imagine working in this sector, right? I mean, but when I start looking at what they were asking is like, wow, I mean, this is, and I had a chance to also kind of work like in Andres was like a supplier quality specialist, with Chrysler too. So I had a lot of exposure, with different people, different processes. I mean, for me, it's just like a process, right? It's like no different from let's map the process, the sidewalk, the process map, the flow chart, identifying what the opportunities are, and then, determine, what are the reasons, the whys, countermeasures or corrective actions, and then just keep monitoring, right? So I do encourage, a lot of our team members, right, that if you basically are looking for changing, to a different sector, right, and perhaps you may be discouraged because I mean you don't have the experience, but you do have kind of like the knowledge. I would just encourage you to just apply, right? And kind of when you have a chance for an interview, tell them what you do and how you could probably apply, those tools into the environment that you're trying to get in. Thank you.
Alberto, were you afraid of being able to fulfill your actual position in any time?
Not really. I mean, well, maybe it was a little, kind of like intimidating at the beginning because, I mean, I have worked with doctors on different fields. Again, Raytheon, maybe, in a business unit, probably we had like 3 or 4 or 5, but, I would never had a chance, to sit down with like 15 or 20 at the same time. Right.
Okay.
So from that perspective, it was a little bit intimidating, but again, I think that there's a very, we complement a lot because definitely, um, I'm gonna support, with all this lean, Six Sigma tools, and obviously, there's a subject matter experts in the medical field, right? So when we get together, I mean, we do very, work on very, challenging projects, and we've been very successful, solving them. So again, from that perspective, Doctor, a great. I mean, I definitely, said, you know what, I want to do my best. I mean, I've done this, visiting suppliers, visiting vendors. I'm sure that, I mean, you don't know anyone. You go there, they throw you in there. You're going to solve a problem. You have to give results. And then, you kind of pull back, and what I used to do at a Chrysler, we had a line stoppage, 5,000 vehicles, you go to where the site is and you have to figure it out. Right? So in here, right, I mean, it's a little bit different because, I mean, now you have patients, right? So, I mean, we don't have parts, we have human lives, which changes a lot, right? So it's been, quite a journey to be here. But again, right, I mean, everyone that is passionate for what they do, I'm sure that, they'll feel the same on their own sectors. Yes.
So that is gonna be your recommendation to anybody trying to change career from probably from automotive to medical devices or to hospital, that we got the tools. It's a different environment, but the tools are the same. You
Correct.
agree?
Correct. They're the same. If you look at, any job description, right? I mean, there'll be some technical words that you may not understand, but, improve processes, control, measure efficiencies. I mean, it's like, you know how to measure, we know how to improve, we know how to control, or what are the tools that can do that, right? So, and again, right, I mean, I have some experience, limited experience, it's been 3 different sectors. But again, right, I mean, for some reason, now, I mean, I've been with the clinic for 2 years now, and it's coming, easier and easier, I guess, is probably part of the training of the learning, right? But again, right, the only thing that we do, I mean, I do here is use the tools that this greater, I mean, I learned, within my certifications, this organization.
Okay, okay. Any recommendation for example, for Dr. Kramer's student that they're gonna be in a couple of months getting to the job market and looking for a position? Any recommendation?
Definitely, definitely. I mean, for anyone that is studying, right? I mean, that is basically a lot of the theory, right? So it's just about the application, right? And sometimes, we think that we need like a big project, in order to show, but not necessarily, right? Even if you're home, look at the kitchen, apply 5S, for example. Uh, I haven't been successful because my wife has her own rules. But if you know what I mean. But I mean, you go to your garage, you can do a 5S, right? You check basically your electric bill. How can you challenge yourself to lower it? What are the things that are, causing you to spend more, electricity? So I would strongly, encourage, take the chance, take an opportunity, raise your hand, hey, volunteer, for example, for any organization, say, hey, I know these tools. I would like to have an opportunity. I want to help. And as you help, I mean, you're going to learn, right? I mean, there's a lot of opportunities, also within, the clinic. If any our local, would like to, uh, participate, right? I mean, I would more than happy to help out. Uh, but don't be afraid, right? I mean, all of us somehow, started somewhere, right? And you just need to take that first step. uh, Everything that is being, taught in a classroom, it will be somehow, it is going to be very useful, So, and I know, the trajectory, some of the trajectory from Dr. Kramer. I mean, I wish I could have, time, to go with him and with you, Doctor, right? I mean, MIT graduates, right? I mean, that help out, not necessarily even in the classroom. I mean, a phone call, a chat, a coffee, meeting, and that's really what it is. I mean, this organization, we're here to help each other, right? I mean, this is a forum where we say, hey, oh, I know that guy, probably I can call him and ask for some help. I do the same. I attend some other type of ASQ, meetings, and I've known, people that are basically subject matter experts on labs. That's something that we have on the hospital. I'm gaining experience, right? I network with someone, call them, and now we become, very good friends, right? So that would be, my recommendation, and I wish everyone, all the best. Yes.
Great, great. We appreciate that. And before leaving Adelaide to take care of the rest of the conference, I would like to encourage you guys to link. I've seen that we're going to be having a panel with a team from Cleveland Clinic coming soon. And that is going to be providing us the forum to get more deeper in terms of uh, why Alberto took the leap of faith of getting into hospital environment and dealing with a lot of doctors that they think that they are Jesus Christ minus one. So also, Alberto, I appreciate from my side giving this time to share with us the 1510 chapter. And on the I got a question here, and are you available to do the same presentation in Spanish? We got people from Mexico, from Costa Rica, and Puerto Rico that, Spanish is our basic and natural language, so they're asking for it. And I
Yeah,
hope
definitely. Yeah, no, I mean, if there's any audience, right? I mean, and it's to support, our, organization, I would be more than willing to, have the same session in Spanish. I think it's very, helpful. And regarding the other invitation, team, we're thinking on probably, having another event like this. But I would really like to have, some of our team members in the hospital kind of show, what we've done, and let them really kind of explain how they've been using the tools, because that's really how, I think that, I should be measured at least, as part of the advisory team, right? I mean, that's how I measure it. If they're able to talk and walk the tools, then I think that I'm doing a good job. And this would be a great opportunity, to invite, nurses, um, CNAs, that great group, to probably share, some of the things and how they use the tools, right?
So guys, Alberto is inviting us for a field trip to Cleveland Clinic here in Weston. So, hey, everybody, just join the wagon and get with us and Alberto at this field trip. Adalit, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, and thank you, Alberto, once again. That was great. That was great. Thank you, everyone, for joining us tonight. Again, special thanks to Alberto Suarez for such an insightful session. Process improvement and all these tools are very important in every type of industry and in banking industry. So I have a different perspective about that. But before we wrap up, I want to two things that I want to share with you is a short poll that I'm going to pull out here in Zoom. And also, I want to personally invite you to be part of the QXCon 2025, which is our first Quality Excellence Conference that we are holding here. It's happening in November 20th at the Alan Levin in the NSU Broward Center of Innovation. This is going to be the first in-person quality conference here in South Florida by ASQ South Florida section, and is going to bring together leaders, innovators, and professionals who are passionate about quality and continuous improvement. I'm going to be sharing the landing page that we created with all the details. Also, if you are inspired and want to share your expertise, we are accepting speaker proposals, right, Dr. Tomas? Right now. And if you or your company, if you want some visibility at the region's premier quality event, we have also a sponsorship and exhibitors packages opportunities available. So this is your chance to showcase your brand and connect directly with decision makers. So please don't miss out this opportunity, because this is a conference where purpose meets performance. That's the theme for this year. And we would like to see you there. I'm going to be sharing here so you can see quick in a chat the presentation of our the website that we created for the event. And I'm going to be sharing this same link with you guys in the chat. So you have it here.
I think that we have to mention that this is the very first time for the Florida chapter that we're going to have a conference on neuroscience applied to quality system. This is weird science, so I invite everybody to get into our conference.
So I shared the link in the chat, and also open the poll to complete the survey. So how we're doing, what are the type of webinars that you want to see in the future. So just quick 5 questions that you have there.
And please answer the questions because that gave us the way to improve.
Yes, process improvement, always continuous improvement. So so if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. We are here as a team. Send an email. We're going to be sending our memos. We're going to be sending that information and then posting the video on our YouTube channel once it's ready. Any questions, Alberto? Thank you very much, Alberto. I'm going to see you soon.
Thank you again, so much, team. A pleasure being here.
That was after the merger with Collins.
I think that we need to share our gratitude from the guys from the West Coast that get into the conference, and the guys from Mexico that join us. And
thank you, Alberto.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Alberto. and Adalit, and we look forward to your comments and improvement opportunities.
Yes, and to see you on next, in the field trip to.
Yep.
Yes, thank you very much. I really appreciate that.
Okay, guys, good night. Have a great
Good night.
weekend.
It was a great presentation.
Thanks,
Thank you.
appreciate that. Take care, guys.
Thank you. Thank
See
you very
you.
much. Thank you.
Bye.